acting, which makes sense. Which is sad. I love her so much, and I was happy to see her come back, and I marked out so hard. But I understand it. So we need people like Nyla Rose on there.
I'm just hoping it's not a squash match. I'm hoping it's not over in a few seconds.
No, I don't want it to
think AEW
be.
is smarter than that.
I don't want it to be. Up next, Pasty, we got Jake Hager versus Dustin Rhodes.
I am actually fairly excited for this match. It's had a decent little build up along with the Cody MJF it's been good.
Right. And Dustin hasn't disappointed yet in AEW.
Yeah, and this is kind of the first time Dustin's fighting his own battle in AEW. And to me that's really cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Jake doing something. He's never impressed me in WWE. I was never impressed with him. In his MMA career, I wasn't impressed with him.
It's okay, because in AEW, his gimmick is he doesn't talk.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything right now.
They were asking him questions backstage, and he just stood there and stared at the camera.
But I'm going to predict this based on, I hope that they're thinking. Because this is the third major name I would say that they've brought in since they kind of started and got all their guys. Mm-hmm. They got Jake Hager, they got Wardlow.
Folks, he means third WWE
and they
guy.
got Jeff Cobb. You know what I mean? Those were all big names. And Wardlow and Jeff Cobb, they WWE'd. They said, "Oh, you weren't here from the beginning. You're losing. We don't care," which was, I think, wrong in both cases. Mm-hmm. But that's neither here nor there. Jeff Cobb isn't signed to a contract, so that probably isn't wrong, but I also wouldn't have brought him in like that. Again, that's me, not them.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping this time there's a big name that they brought in. I hope they actually let him go over on a quote-unquote AEW original, which I know sounds weird. They haven't even been around a year, or maybe just at a year now, but yeah, I want to see Jake Hager win, which goes against, I prefer Dustin Rhodes, and I'd like Dustin Rhodes to win, but I think they need to start acknowledging that they need to put over other guys.
Yeah, this is his debut match, and it kind of matters if he wins it or not.
And it affects Jericho's whole inner circle, I think.
Yes. And also, I feel like if everybody in the inner circle that's on this card wins except for Jericho, then there's I don't know. I feel like the inner circle would benefit if it was just Sammy Guevara and Proud and Powerful. Because Jericho comes out with all these, he acts like he's Hispanic, and comes out like he's one of them, and obviously he's Canadian. Right. And so it would just make sense for, as soon as he's not pulling his weight, for them to be like, "Yep, you're out, and it's time for us to hit
that's
11th
cool.
gear."
I like that story.
Yeah. And it's a good way to get Jericho to do something completely different than what he's been doing, which is always nice. But yeah, I'm going with Hager on this one because he needs to win.
Jaking it up.
Yes, Jake all over your face. Then we got the AEW Tag Team Championship match, which could almost be your main event of the night.
Oh, definitely could be.
Adam Page and Kenny Omega versus the Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks totally sunned Adam Page last week on Dynamite when they sat down and had a conversation about their upcoming match and how they're all friends. But the Young Bucks are the best tag team in the world, and they're winning those titles tonight. And there's dissent between Omega because Omega agrees with wants to be friends with the Young Bucks, and Page just wants out of the Elite. And this is just, it's going to be good.
It's a good story. They built up a good story.
Yeah, I believe the Young Bucks are coming out victorious, and I believe Adam Page and Kenny Omega are dissolving, and that's going to lead into fun things in the future. And I like matches like that lead into more fun things in the future. That's split off into alternate realms. That's good.
See, and I agree with you in part of it. I think the Young Bucks win here, but I think it's not due. I think Adam Page gets a chance to turn on Kenny Omega, but I think he sticks it out. I feel like they can play this out a little longer, and I don't think the dissension happens here. I think they build it a little bit more.
I'm okay with
it'll work if he turns on him here. That's fine, but I don't think he does.
It's during the match. I think because Kenny Omega just had that Iron Man match against Pac, he's not going to be in it hardly at all. He's going to be the one to lose it, and then Paige is going to get pissed afterwards and jump him. That's what I see coming.
Sounds good. Good.
Just to add a little clarification. Then we have the match everybody's here for, Cody versus MJF. And oh boy, I'm excited for this. I love the storytelling in Cody matches, and MJF is such a good heel, and these guys are going to paint such a good picture together with Cody's blood on the canvas.
This should be good, and this should be another one of those where I think if Cody doesn't impress me on this one, I'm just stand by. He's just in the wrong position because this needs to be a good match, and it should be by all accounts. It should be.
Brandy Rhodes has to do it. It has to happen.
I don't want it to. I don't want them to play this WWE crap. Just let her be Cody's woman and always Cody's woman, and she doesn't need to turn on him. I don't like it. I think
this works so much better than Rusev and Lashley. I promise.
And Brandy,
it's the one situation where it would work well.
Brandy just needs to she needs to be Miss Elizabeth. She needs to stand there. Mm-hmm. She needs to clap her hands and every now and then be a slight distraction. But she doesn't need to be in the ring. She doesn't need to talk. She's horrible at everything she does.
Well, something needs to happen, though, because MJF's whole purpose is to make Cody's life crumble around him. So somebody on Cody's side needs to, maybe DDP? Probably not. And they've already made it sound like Arn would do it too much to the point where it probably ain't going to be him.
What if he takes what is it, Anchor? Buckaroo? What the hell's his dog's name?
I think it's Anchor, some kind of weird dog
It's something. What if he takes his dog? Remember, he had his dog...
Dude, what if it's Bernard the Bear? They still have those costumes. They've said it.
Yeah. He had his dog come out to the ring the one time other than anyone else. That was his...
And his dog did not want to, much like the horse Adam Page tried to bring out.
Man, I cannot find anything on Cody Rhodes.
Or what did they? They gave Chris Jericho an animal too, and the animal wouldn't come out.
Like, just enough with animals. Yeah, obviously MJF has to win this one.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him not to. I don't
honestly
see how...
in 2020 it's not a good idea to parade animals around on your arena show.
No.
You get too much hate for that.
But then, Pacey, out of the 3 could-be main events, we have the one that is slated in the main event slot, and that is your AEW World Championship, which I agree should be. I like that.
Yes.
For the most part, they're keeping it in the main event section. We got Chris Jericho taking on Jon Moxley, and for what, for me, is the most difficult to pick out of all of these.
I think so, too.
Because there's good reasons for each to win.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny that either way, like... They're both WWE guys, isn't it?
It is, and I have mixed feelings about it, but as far as a business decision goes...
It makes sense. They're the biggest names in the
They're
brand.
The 2 biggest names, exactly. I mean, not who I would want, not who I would pick, but that doesn't mean that my company would be on TNT or sell pay-per-views. You know what I mean?
Right. We're on Spreaker and can't keep sponsors.
Yeah, exactly. So it's hard to say. What do you see here, Pasty?
Let's go for a new tomorrow, man. Put it on Mox. I'm excited to see what can come from that.
Yeah, I mean, part of me says Chris Jericho was their first champion, and I want him to hold it at least a year, and Jon Moxley is a WWE guy, and he doesn't need to be taking the title from him, and Jon Moxley is doing great right now. He doesn't need a championship. Got a lot of reasons for Chris Jericho to keep it. At the same time, Chris Jericho is older and more associated with WWE. Chris Jericho, this version of Chris Jericho is not my favorite.
I agree there.
Personality, just something isn't quite there. And this version of Jon Moxley, I love, probably my favorite out of all, including Switchblade Conspiracy back in the day with Sami Callihan. And I think Moxley has so much. You can just see Jericho. I think he really loves this. He always has passion for it. He never half-asses anything. And I don't want to try to say this,
he has that option to do something completely different
but
anytime.
Moxley, you can see the fire. You can see the want. You can see that he's never been in this position, really. And I think he has that drive more than Jericho has it. Mm-hmm. Not that Jericho's half-assing anything. I really want to make that clear. I don't say that Jericho's half-assing. I just think Moxley has that. Moxley, let's go with Moxley. I'm happy either way, but let's go with Moxley.
All right. Yes, this pay-per-view is going to come down to one match, and that's Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara. That's our main event.
That's the Beef Sticks main event right there, buddy.
And
we
I
do
like
have a tiebreaker, Pasty.
Yes,
and
we
the tiebreaker is, it's written awkwardly because I wrote it. The question is, okay, so they're going to show who the Exalted One is, and they've really been pushing Christopher Daniels and Raven. At least that's what it seemed like to me. So I'm saying, is it one of those two that seem obvious? That's one choice. Or is it somebody else who isn't Christopher Daniels or Raven is the other choice?
Yeah.
So,
which
Pacey,
is it pick. Luke Harper or Matt Hardy? Those are the other two. You're going to let me pick?
I'm going to let you pick first.
I'm saying someone else.
Okay. So Pasty says someone else. So I'll go with, I mean, Christopher Daniels and Raven are the one they're pushing, so I have no problem with taking them. Not that, I mean, sometimes they give you a red herring, and this could easily be one of those, but I would love to see it be Christopher Daniels for a few reasons. A, I love the Fallen Angel character.
Yes.
And we just went on earlier about how much I just absolutely adore Christopher Daniels, and I'll take him in any capacity. Second, a lot of people forget about this or don't remember this, and I know we've talked about it on the show. Christopher Daniels was supposed to be the higher power in the Undertaker Ministry of Darkness storyline, but to the fact to where he actually
Vince.
came there and he was gonna start practicing with all the guys, getting in the ring and doing everything, and Vince seen him and said, "He's too tiny," and it became Vince McMahon.
I'm bigger than him. I'll do it.
So I would love to see this be like his comeuppance. Like it's not as big as the Ministry of Darkness thing for sure, but it's cool, and he'll do a great job.
Still make it that big, though. You know what I mean?
I would hope
it's a ball of clay to mold for whoever is the leader.
For sure, and he can only help. The Dark Order needs something. They're definitely coming back up now. Finally, they are doing better. I will admit that, but they still need some help. They're not getting over. They have damage control. They're already damaged. So as great as they do now, they still need help.
They came in broken, folks. Matt Hardy.
That's true. So there you go. There's our Revolution predictions. It's going to be a good show.
I'm excited to watch it. Great show. I should be watching it right now.
I have to have the kids bring the Xbox back out to the living room. I haven't had the Xbox in my living room because the kids need 2 or 3 Xboxes to play fucking one game. Because
Fortnite.
That's how things are now.
Ow!
Actually, no, they do GTA Online as their big thing now. They own like 4 casinos and like 3 arcades, and like GTA Online has definitely changed since I last played it. Holy shit.
It's huge. I know I've had you over a couple times when I lived out there.
And it's changed since then.
We were playing sumo with the cars on the rooftops.
It's nothing like that now. It's completely like a whole thing.
My
disc
drive on my PS4 keeps breaking, so I can't play it.
But so they keep taking it in there. So finally yesterday I told my son, I was like, I got to work tomorrow. I want to watch AEW Dynamite. I want to watch that Iron Man match before we record tomorrow. So have the Xbox hooked up in the living room before I get home tomorrow. Well, he did what I told him to, and by the time we got home, which was late because I had a lot to do today, the Xbox was in there, but by the time I got home, I was going to have to record in about 20 minutes, and he wanted to bring some friends over, and they took the fucking Xbox back in the bedroom. So now I'm stuck talking to Pasty, and they're playing the shit in there.
2 more weeks, you'll be able to watch it.
So hopefully I can get it in here maybe tomorrow and actually watch this pay-per-view sometime this week, because I'm excited for it.
Ooh, if you break a couple TVs, you wouldn't have this problem.
This kid acts like TVs are like napkins. The other day, he's like, "Oh, Dad, we need to bring the Xbox over to Mason's house so we can play." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And then
don't they know that there's online playing and you don't have to actually go places to play games with your friends?
No, they like to be with each other and play. So then I'm like, okay, whatever, get it boxed up. He gets it boxed up because I make him take care of it. And he's like, okay, do you want to grab the TV?